Okay. Well, thanks OsteoStrong Sioux Falls friends for letting me share a little bit tonight. Neil Zavenbergen is my name. I'm a health coach with Optavia, which I'll explain a little bit more about here tonight. Just a little bit of an overview. Thanks for coming while as well, and great to have you guys here. I'm just going to fly through a little bit of information about the company. The big thing we always start with people is a health assessment. So I'll be talking to some of you about doing a free health assessment just to see where you're at with your health goals, and if there's any areas of your health that are troubling you right now, we can talk about. So Optavia, here's my story. First of all, a little bit. That was me 10 years ago. That's my youngest son. That's the 8th grader that I mentioned to you. He was probably 5 at that point, and yes, he is adopted. We don't have an Asian recessive gene or anything. He's from China, and our younger 2 kids are both from China. And we were in Duluth on vacation there, and I was sitting like that most of the time because my knees were hurting all the time. And I was a good 265 at that point, and I called myself a closet fat guy. My wife couldn't understand. She cooked super healthy at home, and I kept gaining weight as I traveled. She couldn't understand why I was getting heavier, and I'm like, yeah, it must be this metabolism thing. I don't know, or it could be the ho-hos and ding-dongs that I was pounding all the time when I was on the road. So I got connected with a friend of mine in Pella, Iowa. We lived in Pella for 10 years, so we have a lot of connections there. And he had just lost, he was a former football player and actually played for USD and the Iowa Barnstormers. And he lost over 100 pounds back in 2009. And I'm like, dude, what happened to you? My wife and I were getting ready to go on a 20th anniversary trip to Jamaica. And so I just wanted to look a little better on the beach in Jamaica. So for me, originally, that was the goal. And if I had had a health coach, I would have put the weight right back on. It would have been a diet. But because I had a health coach, we goal set through that trip and took 60 pounds off, and I feel better at 50 than I did at 40, so it's kind of fun. So I can't wait to get to be 60. Soon I'll feel better yet. But, it's been a fun journey. I teach in the business department at Dordt University as well, but I enjoy serving people on their health journeys as well. A little bit about Optavia. Dr. Wayne Anderson is our founder. Back in 2001, prior to that, he had been an ER physician. He was running the ER facility in Dayton, Ohio, in the big hospital system. And he's very much about proactive wellness and things like that. And he was just so frustrated jump-starting people back to life but never getting anybody any healthier. So he quit and went looking for something and found a great, what at the time was a diet company. And then he wrote a book called Habits of Health, created a whole coaching system, and that is something that's unmatched now today, the whole Optavia program that I'll tell you a little bit about. Our home office, that's actually downtown Baltimore. I'm heading there later this week. So I'll actually be in the Legg Mason building in a couple days here. Our home office is right there with Johns Hopkins, so we're connected with them from a nutrition standpoint. And as coaches, we're actually certified by Villanova. Villanova University has a Center for Obesity Prevention and Education, and that's who we're certified by. So we've got some great medical backing in our program. There's really no magic in our program. It's really about habits. If I was only allowed one word to talk about this, it would be habits and forming new habits. And as you think about habits in our lives, a bad habit, if you focus on it too much, it's hard to ever get away from because you're thinking about it all the time. So it's the thinking of installing new habits. And in our book and workbook that I'll mention, they talk about installing habits like software. And I like that analogy of we're installing new habits or new programs and new patterns. So a lot of credibility. We've won a lot of different awards. We're a publicly traded company. So there's 25,000 health coaches like me around the U.S. and we just expanded to Singapore and Hong Kong as well, which is fun because my oldest daughter lives in Indonesia. So now maybe there's business trips to go see my oldest granddaughter. She's 4 months, by the way, and she's been in 5 countries already. So that's kind of fun. So I love our tagline and our logo and everything. I'm a marketing prof, so I kind of get geeked out by taglines and logos and such. So Optavia is actually Latin for optimal way or optimal health, and lifelong transformation, one healthy habit at a time. And that is such a cool way to look at it, that it's not just about the short term, or for me a trip to Jamaica, or for a wedding, or for a class reunion. Those goals are fine, but it's about lifelong transformation and building new habits. And then the radians in the logo is the image of there's 24 hours in a day, and as we make good habit choices, micro habit choices throughout the day, we grow, and that's why the little things are growing throughout there. Okay? So a little bit of what's going on in the U.S., and this is actually hitting the rest of the world as well. but a third of US adults are obese and a full 2/3 are overweight and obese. I was right on the line between overweight and obese. And I was still pretty active. There's another term we use for people like me, it's called fat fit, where I was pretty active, but I still ate like I was 20 instead of 40, and you can't outwork bad eating. So exercise is great, but if you're eating terrible like I was, then it's counterproductive. So just as an example of an awakening for me, 10 years ago, I was in Chicago on a business trip, and I was sitting by myself on a Thursday night in a grill of some kind, Fridays or something like that. And it was all couples all around, and I was looking at my phone and just feeling sorry for myself. And I looked down, and it's like I snapped out of something, and out of a trance or something, and I was looking at a brownie sundae and a bloomin' onion. And that's what I had ordered. No entree, just this giant onion ring blob, and a Diet Coke and a brownie sundae. I'm like, who ordered this? But apparently I had. So that's kind of how I was living. I probably pounded 3,500 calories right there. And then I'd go work on an elliptical machine the next morning and burn 150 and think that I had offset that. So I was definitely in this category, and the what to do and how to do it isn't that complicated. It's the mental aspect of staying motivated and changing habits and patterns and things like that. So the 4 components of our system, very briefly, and I'm going to give you a specific example of how this can work. Your Optavia coach is what we do in supporting people, the Habits of Health book and workbook that I'll talk about, the community, and then the structured nutrition plan and the fueling. So first of all, as an Optavia coach, we're simply guides. We're simply people that have been on this journey before. We're not nutritionists, we're not dietitians, although we do have people that are dietitians that are health coach. We've got physicians and lots of other medical professionals. I'm not, and you don't have to be. As a health coach, I simply care and support people and cheer them on. The big question we ask people as they want to get healthier is why? Why do you want to do this? And then we cheer people on toward their why. That's the big thing. That's the value we provide. It's a free service, but it's a big part of our overall program. So just cheering people on with encouragement and support. This is brand new. Dr. A wrote the first version of Habits of Health back in 2001 and had a workbook with it, and that was great. He just rewrote it over the last couple of years, and this is just a fantastic resource, and a couple of you are digging into this already. So Dr. A's Habits of Health, this is not a quick read. I mean, you're not just going to read this thing yet this week. You could, I guess, but it's a lot of good information in here. It's not as technical from a medical and nutrition standpoint as the first one was. It's much more about the mental. So 2/3 of it is about the mental aspect. And then along with it, even cooler, is a book called Your Life Book. And there's 26 elements in here, and it's designed to take at least a year to work through this. So 2 weeks at a time, 26 elements, and really start formulating what you want to create in your life, okay? And don't overthink that from a spiritual standpoint. That's not what it's about, but starting to plan and goal set and think about what do you want the rest of your time on this planet to look like, and how do you want to feel and be and do, and goals and things like that, okay? So wonderful resource. That's part of our program. That's really the structure of the education part. But because that's kind of a big thing, we have a short getting started little version too, and the only one I have left is in Spanish. So this one says, we Optavia, so Optavia guide. So this is the getting started thing for more like the first 30 days, because taking that all in would make people go, I can't do this, right? So that's the long term, this is the short term. And then the other aspect is the app, Dr. A's Habits of Health app, and that's just a great place to track what you're eating and your hydration. And if you're really feeling whatever emotion makes you want to, in my case, bury my face in donuts from a convenience store, that was my old pattern, and pizza from convenience stores. I really like convenience stores, okay? And I still kind of know where they are, so we got to monitor that. So whatever's got you feeling like making a bad choice, you can actually hit the Stop Challenge Choose button and journal and record that for later, and just think, okay, I actually, as a human, can stop and challenge myself to make a better decision and choose. And there's even a little video of Dr. A that can pop up and yell at you, and there's some really cool stuff in the app.
Yeah, there's a 3-layer chocolate truffle mousse cake sitting in my refrigerator right now.
But you had fruit the other night.
And I had an apple.
And then that installing habits. So I missed a couple days ago, I must not have recorded one, but it takes 66 days, studies show it takes 66 days to install a habit. So the idea is to string together 66 perfect days and start building momentum that way. So really, really cool stuff in here that fits with the book and life book as well. So that's the structure of the education, again, for life. So it's a resource for the long term, okay? And small, consistent changes, which fits what you guys talk about here at OsteoStrong, is baby steps toward getting healthier in your bone strength and everything you guys do. So I love the partnership and the synergy of these two programs. And then the community. This is a powerful part of it as well. We do live events like this. We do team coaching where we'll have a couple coaches working with people. But the big thing we do is a virtual community in Facebook. So my coach, David Bush, and all of his coaches and clients, we have close to 5,000 people in a secret Facebook group, a closed Facebook group, and it's all people that are on the same journey. A lot of people in there never say anything, but there's lots of recipes. We're on day 8 right now of a 28-day challenge. Usually about 7 or 8 months of the year we'll do a 28-day challenge kind of thing. And so there's always something going on in that Optimal Life group. We also do every Wednesday night at 7 Central is a Habits of Health webinar in Zoom. If you haven't used Zoom at all, it's the super easy version of GoToMeeting and GoToWebinar and all those types of online meeting apps. So we use Zoom for that, and every Wednesday night there's 5,000–6,000 people in that from around the country. The cool thing is I very rarely make it live to that, so they record it, it ends up in YouTube and in a podcast within the next several days. So you can go into YouTube to our channel and see all these different topics. And actually over the next, they're in element 5 this week of the life book. So over these 26 weeks here, every Wednesday night is a new element of the life book is what they're working through. And then the nutrition support team, if you have any questions about specific issues with different ingredients and things like that, the nutrition support team can help with that. We've even got a behavior specialist, a psychologist that works at the home office that can help help people with different issues in the mental being as well. And then finally, the structured nutrition plan, and we call them fuelings, and that's a little bit of a weird word when you first hear it, but if you think about what food really is, it's simply fuel. It's gas in the tank. It's not fun, it's not entertainment, it's not comfort, all those things that we've made food to be, it should be. We're just trying to change people's relationships with food, and that's what why we use the word fueling. So that seems like a goofy marketing word, but it's actually very intentional to say fuelings, because food is fuel. So here's the magic of it. Here's the question we ask people as they enter this program is, can you eat every 2.5–3 hours? That's all it is. And by doing that, if there's any magic in this program, by eating, it's the science of 6 fuelings. By eating 6 times a day, you end up actually lifting your metabolism a little bit. You flatten out the blood sugar insulin roller coaster that a lot of us are on. Drink lots of water with it, and you feel great. And you get into a gentle fat burn. It's not a harsh ketosis that's hard on your body. It's a gentle fat burn that's medically based, and the weight comes off, but you also build, more importantly, new habits. So it's really a habit formation thing that includes weight loss versus a weight loss thing that sticks for the long term. It's really about habits. Okay, it's nutrient dense, portion controlled. Every one of our items has a beginning and an end. Okay, and you shouldn't have 4 of them, right? So when I was a kid, I would always try to sneak brownies and cake from my mom by eating just 1 fork width at a time, thinking that she wouldn't notice that the pan was getting smaller. I think she noticed, but anyway. Right? So, and yeah, for every stage of the journey, we've got the right solution. So the 5-in-1 plan is what most people do. There's different variations of this for different ages and for nursing moms and for diabetics, and there's a variety of plans. But most people kind of start with this 5-in-1, and basically you eat 5 of our fuelings and a lean and green meal on your own, because we want to teach you how to cook healthy too. Okay. So here's, then 3-in-3 is more for the long term, but you still keep eating 6 times a day. And whether you're buying anything from us for the long term is irrelevant. That's not what it's about. It's about learning to eat 6 times a day for the long term. And even fruit and dairy are fine for the long term, but during the weight loss phase, there's too much sugar and fat in it, so it throws off weight loss. So we cut that stuff out for the weight loss phase, and you can add it back later on. So just as a very specific example, if you were to do the 5-in-1 plan, here's how that would look. Here's how to lay out the can you eat every 2.5–3 hours, okay? So first thing in the morning, within 30 minutes of waking up, and the reason the word breakfast is called break the fast is because all night you usually sleep instead of eat, so you're breaking the fast. So if you skip breakfast, you're telling your body we're starving. Your cells don't know your fridge is full of food. So by skipping breakfast, your body is going to retain fat stores instead of burning them. So skipping breakfast is totally counterproductive. So within 30 minutes of waking up, with a glass of water, maybe have one of our chocolate chip pancakes. Those are fantastic. We got a couple different oatmeals. You can do a little brown blueberry muffin. There's some cereal. That's basically Fruit Loops. So several different breakfasty items, or you can have a peanut butter bar if you want. That's still my favorite. 2.5, 3 hours later, so now we're into the middle of the morning. You can have a morning snack, maybe one of these little brownies. You can actually make these as a little waffle too. There's a waffle maker called a Dash that's perfect for these. You can have a little crunchers if you're feeling something in the Doritos or Cheetos genre. You can do a bar. I think we've got some of these here actually, or do a shake, just as examples. They're all interchangeable though, so you still can have another peanut butter bar if you want. That's kind of go-to. Okay. Then for lunch, if you're feeling something lunchy, you can make some macaroni and cheese, or a chili, or a soup, or a muffin. When they came out with this one, that was kind of fun because a lot of people were craving something in the bread category, and bread tends to equal carbs. But this, they found a way to make this muffin that's very good, but it's kind of in that bread category a little bit. Or do a smoothie if it's hot and you're feeling a smoothie kind of thing. Okay. Then in the middle of the afternoon, 2.5, 3 hours later, 3 o'clock-ish, you get to eat again. Probably should drink some water. Maybe have some crunchers. This is a honey mustard pretzel sticks, or a bar, or make a blonde brownie. That's one of my favorites as well. This is also very good as a little cheesecake, cinnamon cheesecake kind of thing. So you can, eat any one of these items in the middle of the afternoon. Then, and the lean and green meal can be any time of the day. You can do it at lunch, breakfast, but a lot of people do it at the dinner time or supper time, whichever part of the world you come from, that evening meal. With water again, so you can do something like a chicken chop salad or a taco salad. Cauliflower has some wonderful repurposing that's going on lately, so you can make a cauliflower crust pizza, or some other little that's like an inside-out egg roll. There's Pinterest boards with all kinds of recipes, and our Facebook group we've got recipes. So we've got some great resources there to help with that lean and green meal. And again, this is to give you that balanced nutrition, but also to teach you how to cook and dine out healthy. We've actually got a guide for dining out as well. Okay. And then in the evening, if your pattern is to sit in your favorite chair and turn on the TV or read a good book and have something to snack on, well, we probably should have something there then too, because that's a pattern that you're used to. So you can have a hot chocolate, or a soft serve, or a pudding, or another peanut butter bar, whatever you want, okay? Anything like that, okay? And again, they're all interchangeable. I have a client who loves the cappuccino, and so during certain times of year when she's crazy busy, she just drinks 5 cappuccinos a day. And that's totally fine. It's like, if you, that's great. If you don't want to have variety, God bless you, that's fine. So they're all interchangeable. They're all about 110 calories, low carb, low fat, low glycemic, which is great for blood sugar issues, high in protein and macronutrients, vitamins and minerals, and it even has a probiotic in it as well. So nutrient dense, but without all the bad stuff. And tasty, okay? There's some healthy foods out there that aren't so tasty. So just a couple testimonials. So that's an example of exactly how it works. So Jeff and Aaron live in Sioux City. They're health coaches with me. Jeff and I worked together at Pellicorp years ago, and pretty high stress environment Jeff was in as a manager, and he coped by eating and was not a very healthy 30-year-old. Today, 10 years later, they're both looking great. And then this is Lori up in Wilmer, Minnesota. Busy mom of 6 kids and doing health coaching as well. This is Angela in Sioux Center. She lost about 100 pounds on a 5'4" frame. The fun part about this picture is the 2 kids she's holding weigh 100 pounds. So she lost the weight equal to 2 of her 3 children. And she talks about not what she lost, but what she gained by being able to play with her kids again. So that's one of my favorite testimonials. And what happens with optimal health is we talk about healthy body, mind, and finances. And it's not, we're not psychiatrists, and it's not about the money, but what happens when you get your body and your habits in place, your attitude tends to be better because you're feeling better, and you're spending a lot less money on junk, and hopefully on medications and on all these other things that it might improve your finances as well. We do have opportunities. We're looking for more health coaches, but we don't push that super hard, so it's really more about getting your own health in order as well. So we do ask people though to share the gift of health. That's kind of the 5th pillar. We talk about the 4 of community coach, fuelings and education system. But the fifth one would be sharing the gift of health. And there's actually benefit to that. We call it going public with your health journey. Some people want to keep it quiet, and that's totally fine. We respect that. But by sharing with others that, hey, you know what, I'm working on my health, now you've got people kind of holding you accountable because people are watching. And eventually that ripple carries out to other people. So 9 years ago, I chose to jump in, partly because of that Jamaica trip, to improve my own health, and now close to 800 people later have been impacted because I chose to get going on my own health journey. So you can just be a referral advocate and send people our way. We give referral perks for that, or look at becoming a health coach and sharing the gift of health. I really didn't want to do that at first, but we're in a very expensive time of life with 4 kids in the house and private education, and so I jumped into health coaching, and it's been a blast ever since. But no pressure either direction on doing that. Okay? So that is kind of what we go through with people in our little tagline of lifelong transformation, one healthy habit at a time. Most of you already have filled out little things, so I can follow up with you to do the health assessment, which is just a quick either phone call or an in-person thing. And it's not, I'm not a high pressure, you know what I mean? It's not about signing people up. It's about your health. And the big thing we try to gauge is, are you ready to make changes? Are you awakened to the need to make some changes? And if you're not, I can't talk you into it. You know what I mean? It's really your readiness. So anybody watching on the live stream as well, we'd love to connect with you and yeah, talk about a health assessment. And it really starts with what you want to accomplish. It's not about the program, even though that's what I just covered. It's really more about you and your health and what you want to improve for the future. So questions? Any questions? Anything here?
Do you want me to wait for the health assessment when we're done?
Sure, yeah, yep. We can chat a little bit afterwards. Yep. Any questions? Young people, any questions at all? We've actually got a cool program that we're working on with kids in especially inner cities called Healthy Habits for All. And in fact, this Friday morning, we're going to be building bikes and doing this whole thing in Baltimore as a project for this Healthy Habits for All program. That's a nationwide thing this week. But so we'll be doing more things like that just to help kids realize that you can eat healthy.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of inner cities that don't.
Yes.
Do that.
Yep. You bet. Yep. Great question, Laura. So there is a program for teens as well. A little bit of a different structure if they're still growing, and then for elderly and for the different areas of the diabetes world, and then nursing moms. There are some conditions that you should do the whole program. Pregnancy is one. Now you still can engage in everything else, but doing the 5-in-1 isn't good when you're pregnant. But other than that, there's variations that fit almost everybody. Yep. Good questions. Okay. So we can do this more often, and like I've said, I love OsteoStrong, which you guys do here too. So I'm excited to share that as well because I really think it's a great thing. I've got a daughter that's a gymnast, and just the whole idea of the impact that gymnasts have, and her bone strength is no doubt out of this world from all the landings that she's done.
You should put her on the, parallel bars.
Yeah. The pommel